Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, it is great to have you, and today I want to explain the real reason why silver fell. Now, if you guys haven't noticed already, silver has fallen over 15% in the last 24 hours, going from $29 to just above $24. Now, this was quite the drop, but this was to be expected. Now, silver has had over 3 weeks of straight green, making up for over a 50% gain to the upside in less than a month. So now that we are having our first weekly pullback, which again we'll look at in just a second, I think a lot of people are jumping the gun here and saying that this is the end for silver and that silver is going to continue downtrending from here. But I want to take a realistic approach and look at where silver can actually and realistically move from and recover from the point that it has fallen to. You know, does it have more downside? Does it have more upside? I want to explain all that in today's video and kind of take a futuristic and realistic look at where the price action of silver can go as a commodity in this crazy world that we have and in fact this crazy year that we're all living through. So let's go ahead and jump on into this. Now, I do want to look at this from a daily before we get into that weekly timescale like I talked about already, just kind of recognizing where silver was and where it has fallen to in just a day's time. So we can see over here, silver went from $29.32 all the way down to this new swing low over here from this upside run to $24.44, which is quite the drop off, marking almost a $6 drop off or almost a $5 drop off in a single day, which again is pretty significant. But again, that is nothing in comparison to the 50% that we have risen in the last 3 weeks, which I want to go ahead and take a look at right now. So if we're looking at this candle chart, we can see our first weekly candle that I'm talking about right over in here, and then our second one right over here, and then of course our third one going all the way up in here. Now, we are seeing our first red weekly candle for the time being. We still have plenty of time to make this into a green candle. I don't think it will close as a green candle. I'm going to be completely honest, but it is about time we had a realistic pullback. I mean, this thing has been going so ridiculously parabolic. It was just a matter of time before it saw some sort of price action pullback where all of the bulls were taking at least a little bit of profit. Now, where do I think that silver can realistically bottom out from here? And I think that there is a large range because we are already seeing support from this previous top over in here, and we are bouncing off of this. Now, we are so far from our EMAs, it is absurd. So, you know, there really isn't any kind of realistic idea unless we go to something like the 1 day. But even on the 1 day, I mean, we're not looking at support on silver till like $21. Now, do I think silver is going to fall all the way back to $21? Realistically, no, I don't think that it will, but even if it fell anywhere between like $21 and $18, I think it would still be a very bullish case for silver to bounce off of this level and continue moving into the upside. Now, I've talked about in my videos in the past about why silver could not continue this ridiculously parabolic run up that it's been having. In fact, I think that it's going to do a more realistic uptrend approach than a parabolic approach, because I think what we're going to see is we're going to see nice up and then down and then up and then down and something like this. And I think that this is the way that we're going to start seeing the silver chart move over the next couple of years now. Again, I am long-term bullish on silver. It is going to have its pullbacks here and there, you know, month to month or year to year. It's just going to happen. It's a part of every single asset that you are going to be able to trade. Is, you know, it's really going to just have its ups and downs eventually, excuse me. Now, looking at this on the daily chart, we can see that the MACD was running out of juice just a little bit. You know, it had just barely a lower swing high, you know, pretty much just a double top. The oscillators are starting to point down for now. The relative strength index topping out at a historic level of, what was this, 88, 89 almost, which is the highest point that it has seen since the 2008 crash, which is, again, absurd to show the levels of strength that came in here onto something that is a precious metal. Again, precious metals typically don't have this kind of volatility, but 2020 is the year for everything to change. Am I right? So one thing that you want to at least acknowledge here is that we did have support over in here, and I think we're going to be able to only see this on a weekly chart. But I want to acknowledge this white line that I have over in here. Now, this is going to be a trend line that has acted as both support and resistance. We can see over here, it has been pretty significant support. Silver came back up, rejected this area, came back up and used it as rejection over here and as resistance again until it broke above it. Now, we have broken back down through this. I think you can argue that we have exhausted this trend line. It's well overdue for us to start disrespecting this, and I think that that is a pretty solid argument. One other thing I want to notice is that this is actually where we had our death cross back in 2013, so it has been a significant level now for silver for quite some time. So I would have liked to see silver kind of close above like $26, but it's only $1 from there. Again, I don't think it's anything that is too big of a deal. We're going to have these ups and downs, but again, I think over the course of the next couple of years, silver will very easily surpass its high of $29 and continue moving upwards into the 30s. Ideally into the 40s and 50s and retest that all-time high of $50. So if I'm looking at this as a realistic approach, guys, yes, silver does have potential down to like $20. Do I think that's going to happen? No. If it did, I think that there would be so much buying volume up, at that area that we would almost see a Bitcoin-like effect. Again, when Bitcoin fell to like $5,000 this year, it had a 100% retrace and just ripped through that previous area of resistance being the previous high. I think that that would be a very similar situation if silver went back down into the price areas of like $19, $20, $21. Again, I think the two have been behaving very similarly lately. If we go and we look at the Bitcoin chart, the odds of the Bitcoin chart being down right now are pretty significant because, if silver is down, then and gold is down, then Bitcoin's probably going to be down as well. And of course, that is what we're seeing. Almost a 5% drop to the downside today. And Bitcoin going from $11,900 all the way down to $11,100. So about an $800 drop in Bitcoin. Not nearly as bad as silver. Looks like Bitcoin is recovering just a little bit faster for the time being. But you can see that these hedges against the US dollar right now are going to see some volatility. When we see any kind of news comes out or anything that represents a GDP or fiat representative, those are going to have a direct correlation to the price actions of things like Bitcoin, gold, silver, and other hedges. Now, I want to end off this video by explaining yes, I am long-term bullish on silver, but I think this thing has more downside. If it didn't, we would already start to be seeing a bounce. But with that being said, yes, I do think that there is a little bit more downside on silver. I'm not going to be dumping my bags of silver over the initial pullback. I think that that would be very, very silly. In fact, what I'd rather do is actually accumulate on a pullback like this rather than just sell everything, panic sell, and then I'm kind of looking at just buying the dip. Again, I'm looking at the macro of this, thinking that the macro trend has reversed and that this is actually switching into an uptrend. So I'd rather buy the dip instead of selling the rip at this particular moment because, again, I do believe that this is going to switch into a bull market instead of a bear market. And the way that I view this is that I want to sell the rip in a bear market and I want to buy the dip in a bull market. So for the time being, I'm looking at actually just buying more silver. I think it does have a little bit more room down here. It's very, very possible that it can, that it really continues down and that we're going to have a complete red week for the metals markets, but nothing that is too absurd and crazy and out of the picture. So once again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys being here. If you guys have any questions, I would love to answer those in the comment section down below. And if you guys like the video, drop a like. Other than that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.